Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, April the 8th, 2025. Cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, gold, and silver bullion update. We had a busy weekend, so there were sporadic updates. But if we get right into this here on this early morning, pre 9 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Daylight Time in the great state of Michigan, under sunny skies, and a current official temperature of 46 degrees. Just north of downtown Detroit, outside the work compound, right in the great state of Michigan. And what we're going to do before somebody calls is we're going to do not disturb that. And if we look at the Bitcoin price, you can see we have now bullied our way over that $90,000 level, a critical area that we've been watching for quite some time now. And in reaction to that, you can see we are potentially days away from having a bullish cross of the 50-day crossing back over the 100-day moving average, right? So this is something that we're going to watch very closely to see if we can't get that cross. You can see we had the bearish cross back here in the daily time frame that we forecasted and called out beautifully. The only person in the field that was calling this, you can see right where the 50 went underneath the blue or the 100, and you can see how close they are now. With only a few more days of the price moving up or holding up at those levels, you would see a bullish cross. Or what we could have happen here is if we're looking at in the daily time frame, just like in all these other coins, you can see that was our resistance target, that was our bounce target, the local double bottom that we had. But all of these coins that we're going to look at, XLM, XRP, LCX, Shiba Coin, and the rest of them, you can see we had that consolidation, then we had that pump up to the 90,000, then we pumped above it. And you can see the price the whole time rising with the volume falling. You see that? You have a rising price off a technical level here. So we thought there'd be a rally, and you can see it rising. But if you go look at the volume in the same time, the volume is drastically declining, which often tells you a move is being over exhausted and the momentum and the hype is starting to die down. And I still believe, like we talked about over the weekend, that we're going to come back down now and we're going to have a big retest, a major retest of this 90,000. And when you get into this area in the next couple of days, I believe you're going to be back down into there. That's going to be the critical area. Can you hold that as major support where you come down on it, you get the volume to tick back up and you start to kick up? That would be very bullish. And then in this area, if you can get some candles to stack up and to come back in with some volume back into the life of this thing, that would be very, very bullish. But what I think is going to happen, and I'm still believing is going to happen, is we're going to have that major retest. However it gets down here, it's not going to look exactly like I drew it. It's going to slip it, and then it's going to start using it as resistance. Then the volume's going to come back in with a big red candle, and I think that's going to eventually force you back down in the next week or two. And I think we're going to head... Oops. Oh, there's dots. I'm dotting the screen. Let's get rid of the dots. I think over the next week or two, I think this orange pattern is going to play out versus the green pattern. But do I know that for a fact? No. Oops. Do I believe we're still in this head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern that we've had outlined here for a very long time? Yes, I do. So I'm still going to hold with what I'm seeing. I'm still going to hold with what I think is going to go on. And we're going to see how that plays out. The same thing with the... Oops, I was in the wrong one. The same thing with the XRP. If we look at this really quickly, you can see the XRP, I believe we're still in this head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern that we've been in, that we called back in early to mid-January in purple. We were struggling on this neckline. We dipped down to a $1.61 wick low. We have our head and shoulders target of $1.29. You can see clearly the left shoulder, the head. Oops. What is that in yellow right now? You can see clearly the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and now straggling on the neckline. And you can see where the neckline is. The neckline is right there in purple, right? We'll make this smaller now. Oops. Make that smaller. You can see the neckline in purple. You can see we hit that 200-day moving average. We had the bearish cross that we called, that nobody else called, where you can see the 50-day moving average in the daily has gotten underneath and slipped the 100-day moving average right there. That's a bearish cross. Then we came all the way down to the 200-day moving average like we called for several months. We wicked down all the way to $1.61. Then we held the support along the 200-day like we thought we would. When we were down there in that quick wick, we said we're going to come back up, and then we're going to have a major retest of this neckline when it shoots back up to it. Is it going to get rejected by it like it did initially right here? right? All last week, and then now recently at the end of the week it pumped up above it, got up just above the moving averages. But just like the Bitcoin price, this is another one that's trying to fight and scratch and claw and keep this 209 neckline that's been major support ever since November. Still don't want to buy you. All the way back into the left shoulder, it had major support on the neckline, right? Oops. We had major support on the neckline. Then you can see the head, we had a couple of wicks. We had a big wick down there, and then look at the right shoulder. All that support on the neckline. It's trying desperately not to confirm this as major resistance now, but it's threatening to do that. And I think just like the Bitcoin price, I think you could come up to 255 like we outlined over the weekend. That I believe is your max potential pump. But what I think is going to happen, just like the Bitcoin price, I think we're going to have a date with this neckline again, and this in the next couple of days is going to be the critical test. Do we hold this and bounce, or like the Bitcoin price, do we come back down here and get below it, and it confirms it as a major, even after fighting and clawing for desperation and its best effort, it confirms it as major support, and it starts to break to the downside. And that's something that we're going to watch out for. If it keeps pumping, the 255 is your major upper resistance. You can see the volume though in this move in the daily time frame. I mean, anybody can see that. Look at that up and sideways bounce consolidation after a major flush into a technical buy zone, and look at the volume at the same time. That is not what you want to see. That is often what you see after moves are being exhausted. A move is just being manipulated in a technical fashion to the upside to trap some more people in before the bottom falls out again. And that is what I'm still thinking is going to happen. But what it has allowed is these altcoins that have been down 60, 70%, to some cases pumped 200% from their regional lows. And you can see AMP has tried to do this. I still think it's going to do it. And I think an area that we could be looking out for would be up here at this 0.00860 would be a major retest, a major resistance level on any kind of a pump that we get. And we can already see what we're talking about with some of these pumps before I let you go. As if we look at the LCX, I believe had one. You can see the LCX is doing not as high as some of these other ones, but from its swing low to its wick high, it went up 79%. We're going to show you some other ones. If this thing holds support on this 14 cents, you could fire an LCX back up into this area, the 23 cents, to potentially as high as the 31 cents, the top part of this orange trading zone, just like some of these other coins have done. And you can see in the daily time frame, the volume started to tick up. The last couple of days, it's come down. VTHO is another one that's did the same thing, came off a technical level down there that we had outlined, and you can see it bounced from its wick low to its wick high so far. That was a 100% move, and now we're fighting on the moving averages. And what you got to see is if you come down for major retest, you got to hold this level to stay bullish, or you got to bounce from where you're at now and try to get on top of this 36 cents or 0.003603 to get even more bullish, or you're going to get rejected by this major resistance level. So we'll get more into that on the noon update. XCN's another one that's done a very big jump that we talked about. You can see now it looks like it's double topping, where from its swing low just below the purple trading zone, it got up to a wick high of about 250% from its move. But you can see this coin was down after its 20x move from the time it made that move, 85.23%. Now it's got double resisted off that 0.022 bottom part of that purple trading zone, and that's an area that we've been talking about since you got rejected here the first time, since you were breaking out of this purple zone back at the 0.01467 level, that this would be a major resistance area. And if you can't get back above this area right here, you're going to end up down here very quickly trading out, and you're going to get back this whole gain. So this is a very critical area for XCN to watch. COREUM could be looking to form one of these bounces. We showed you this last week in green, potentially as high as the 0.20442, which would follow protocol for some of these other coins that are down 70 to 80%. On a bounce from there to there, that would be a 99% move. Like the channel, subscribe, become members of Jabroni Killers to keep the fastest growing truth, trust, education, and information station that's out there for you, the retail investor. Peace and love, the Rex Eyebrow, Jay.